The way your site is displayed and organized is extremely important to your SEO. If you're using WordPress, your theme is the backbone of your site, and it's often the determining factor of whether your site delivers a positive or negative user experience. And on top of that, it's important that your site is structured in a way that makes sense to search engines, a way that gives them as much context as possible. So what are some important considerations when it comes to your theme and template settings? First and foremost is responsive design. We talked about this earlier. A responsive design is one that automatically adapts to the smaller screen of a smartphone or tablet. Now, I'm sure you understand the utility of a mobile-friendly design in this world where everybody's using a smartphone all the time, but how does that relate to SEO? In 2016, Google began using mobile friendliness as a ranking signal for its mobile search results, meaning responsive sites will now typically outrank non-responsive sites on mobile, which is where 60% of all searches happen. The good news is that responsive design has become a standard, so almost any modern theme you install on WordPress will be responsive. Still, it's worth double-checking before you install a new theme. Take a look at the mobile version and make sure it adapts properly and offers a pleasant user experience. If you're using an older theme that's not responsive, it's time for an upgrade. If you care about your SEO, this is absolutely mandatory. Next, I want to talk about breadcrumbs, which I recommend adding to your site if you can. So what are breadcrumbs? Well, they're a set of links that look like this. They usually show a link to the home page, a link to the post's main category, and the title of the post. The practical use case here is pretty simple. They help the user get back to where they came from or explore other parts of your site. They're called breadcrumbs because they work just like an actual trail of breadcrumbs that you would drop and use to find your way back to your starting point. You've probably seen breadcrumbs on some pretty high-profile sites, and they're even baked into the Windows operating system. They don't take up much space, they can help users navigate around your site, and as an added benefit, they are extremely search engine friendly. They help search engines better understand the structure of your site and how it's organized, and Google will actually show your breadcrumb trail in the search results in place of your full URL. As of now, the breadcrumbs themselves are not clickable in the search results, but it's still a great opportunity to customize your search snippet just a little bit more, so I recommend taking advantage of it. With many themes, enabling breadcrumbs is as easy as flipping a switch in the theme customizer, but in some cases you'll need a third-party plugin or you'll need to hard code them yourself if you feel they're worth the time. Now let's talk headings. A common way to organize content on a page is with headings, right? You have a big block of text and you can divide that text using subheadings. In addition to helping readers skim your content to get a quick overview, headings tell search engines about the content of your page and how it's organized. So it's important that you use the right headings for the right purposes. There are several different types of headings in HTML. You have heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, and so on, each functioning as a subheading of its parent. These are abbreviated in the actual HTML tags as H1, H2, H3, H4, and so on. It goes up to 6. H1 is interpreted by search engines to be the title of a page. So the only H1 text on your posts and pages should be the title itself. The name of your site can be formatted as H1 on the home page, but nowhere else. If you're using WordPress, you shouldn't have to worry too much about your template files because themes generally handle this correctly. However, when you're creating content, it's important not to shoot yourself in the foot by using the wrong headings. So let's talk about that. I'm in the WordPress post editor here. I've added a heading block, and as you can see, I have this menu here as well as in the sidebar where I can choose one of the many heading options. So even though there is an option to use heading 1, I almost never want to do that because again, the only H1 text I want on the page is my title, and that's automatically included by my theme. Whenever you need to divide your post into multiple sections, always use heading 2. The same goes for dividing an individual section into multiple subsections. You can have multiple H3 sections under a single H2, multiple H4s under an H3, and so on. In most cases, though, all you'll need is H2. As a bonus tip, including keywords in your headings in a natural way, not a spammy way, can give you a little bit of a boost because it's one more signal that your page is indeed relevant to that particular keyword.